Hello and welcome to another episode of Back to the Blockbuster. My name is Gaius Bowling and I'm joined by my buddy Jack. How's it going?
Good, guys. How we doing in the hood of Manhattan Beach, California?
I'm in Redondo.
And I'm in Hermosa, but I picked the middle one.
You're like shouting out the city we're not in. We're missing Owen again, but we think he might just be asleep. He's coming off of like a long weekend in Scottsdale and probably back to work on another long day. But we will hold down the fort with just us with some
It's a big
good
day.
news.
Big day.
It's a
I'm
big,
excited. I'm
it's a big
excited.
day. I didn't want to. We were talking about how we saw Jurassic World Dominion, and we didn't want to get too into it because we had a whole episode about the franchise last week. But the end result for me is that, like, yes, I agree with what you said last week that people think dinosaurs are dope, dinosaurs are awesome. It made a lot of money over the weekend, like 145.1 million, which is pretty much on par with Fallen Kingdom. It got an A minus cinema score, which proves, I guess, again that dinosaurs are dope. But
Dude, no.
like everything about it was not like just like a quick rundown. Like the pacing was off in the first hour. It was really slow to start. I didn't like that it took.
There's three stories going on at one time.
Yeah,
It would jump from a horror movie to a heist movie, back to like Save the Dinosaurs. It was terrible. I mean, as we said multiple times, dinosaurs are fucking dope, but I don't even think dinosaurs could save this movie. This was bad.
yeah, and I'm like looking at the Rotten Tomato score, which keeps dropping. It's at 29% now, but like it opened on par with Fallen Kingdom. It's probably going to gross close to $1 billion worldwide. It might even gross $1 billion worldwide. I was on Joe, who was on our show last week. I was on his podcast earlier today, and I was just saying that like I kind of wish they would just put this to bed now and like not do anything until they come up with a really good idea. I know they're making money off of it, but like it's just nothing's getting better. It's just getting progressively like worse. And
Yeah.
I actually ranked this one last when I did my ranking. I got a lot of crap for it on G Reels, but I the fact that I thought Fallen Kingdom was like slightly better than this should say a lot. And I thought it was crazy too that they waited so long to like make the OG cast merge with the new cast. Like the movie's almost halfway over by the time they all link up. And
Well, if they did it any earlier, it would be like you're forcing it on us. So I understand that aspect of it, like building the two stories up. But in the end, I don't want to dwell on it too much. It was good to see all the new cast. Goldblum was Goldblum. Um, they made a new dinosaur that I had no idea that's now the largest fucking carnivore. But then obviously the T Rex comes back and wins because the T Rex is undefeated.
yeah,
Yeah, that's about it. Like Blue's dope. Blue's got a kid.
yeah,
Beta.
I
She's
did like that.
beautiful.
That was cool.
Yeah, that was. I
I,
think if you're gonna send off this end of the trilogy with Chris Pratt head nodding a raptor, I'm
yeah,
cool with that. But yeah,
I
that
did.
movie was
Yeah, I did kind of like the unspoken like you brought my baby back and it ran away and then ran back to acknowledge like all right we're cool but
yeah.
don't fuck don't cross me again though.
I'll protect
There-
you.
there's
I'll protect you when it comes down to it. Yeah,
yeah. But yeah, it's disappointing because I didn't want to join the chorus of people that are critics that didn't like it. I guess regular people do because I actually got a DM on G Reels that was like, "Why don't you just shut your brain off and just enjoy the movie?" Because I gave it like a C minus, and I was like, "Yeah, you know what? Some movies I can't shut my brain off and enjoy, but this tried to do so much that I." At one point, it was like a Bourne movie. Like you were talking about, like it seemed like there was like a heist almost. Like it felt like an action. All that stuff in Malta felt like it belonged in like one
yeah.
of the Bourne movies.
It was written by three people, and they were like, "Here you go,
Yep.
same characters." But yeah,
But
let's move into some better. Let's move into some better topics, more feisty topics, because we were a little. That's just not a way to start off a show. So let's get into some spiciness. And Gaze, you want to drop this because you wrote about it this afternoon, right?
I wrote, yeah, a few things.
Yeah,
I
about
like,
Joker.
yeah. So, well, it was wasn't it last week? I think uh, after we recorded our episode last week, so it was like maybe in the Thursday or Friday. Todd Phillips posted a cover of
Yes.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
of
Yeah.
this. of the script for the Joker sequel.
And
I don't
Joaquin
want
is
to.
reading it.
I don't want to screw up the name. So will you say what the
I
sequel is
do.
called?
Don't try and get me to say a French word. All I know is it's kind of Joker too. I'm just gonna pull it up real quick just so we get this correct.
Because I was going to
Touchscreen.
say,
Thank
but
you very
I thought I
much.
was gonna, I thought I was going to butcher it if I tried to.
It's dude. It's French, and I can tell you that. God damn, where the name of it is.
Let's see. I'm gonna look up Todd Phillips, and that should give you.
So annoying.
Let's see.
Sorry, bad podcasting. All right, okay, here you go. It's Folie à Deux, which basically means shared psychosis in English. It's a medical it's an instance where two people share the same psychosis. So before the news that we're about to talk about breaks, I was extremely excited for this because the fact that we could finally get like the Batman and Joker timelines actually with Bruce Wayne as the kid in this universe lined up correctly, because Joker Joaquin Phoenix is about 35. Obviously Bruce Wayne's like 10 maybe. No, like yeah, whatever. So my thought was that, oh sweet, they're gonna have, like, I saw a lot on Instagram when they first when it came out, was that there was some kid in the crowd at the end of the movie who like who was a little off, then fell in love with the Joker because he represented something, and like kind of grew from there. Um,
Yeah.
Gaius, this new news is not that.
No, it's not. So the other picture that he posted too was Joaquin Phoenix reading the actual script, so that was encouraging. That Joaquin Phoenix is like involved, and he like keep in mind, like when they made Joker, the one thing I kept hearing was like, this is a standalone movie. We're not going to make a sequel. But then they made a lot of money, and they got nominated for a lot of Academy Awards, and I think that just changes things for the studio. I think.
No, it
But
100% does from a business perspective. Like, you have to do
yeah,
that. Like, we all
but
want it to
then
not be.
the news yesterday, and I got this like in this order. I didn't get the back half of this, so I got the Lady Gaga circling Harley Quinn and the sequel, which on its own sounded fine to me, because I was like, all right, Lady Gaga she's been pretty smart with her like movie choices. She's not a bad actress. I can actually see her playing the part. But then once you got deeper into it, it was like, oh, it's like going to be a musical. And, and
I'm trying not to scream because I'm in my apartment right now. Like, if I was outside, I would be at the top of my lungs. Like, DC, do not do this. Like, don't do this. Why would you do this? There's so many things I could say that's wrong with this right now. But first and foremost, do you want to continue being a joke? Like, you're taking a $1 billion entity that, like, people are like, this movie is fucking phenomenal, gritty. The soundtrack was amazing. The score was fantastic. The cinematography was top notch. I mean, it got nominated for 11 Academy Awards. It deserved it. To then try and inject another star into the movie, and then inject the ridiculousness of a potential musical.
so
I just want to repeat that. A musical.
so are you
Why?
upset about this? You're upset about the star too?
I'm not upset about Lady Gaga. In terms of the story, I don't think that a Harley Quinn would fit this story, unless she was Harley Quinzel throughout the entire thing. And the last like end of that movie is her like kind of turning into Harley. That's fine. She does whatever, but there's no need for Harley. In this, the reason that the Joker is like that in that movie is because he's isolated. It's because he's alone. It's because he has a fucking weird psychosis where he's laughing all the time because his mom beat him and chained him to a goddamn radiator. Like, what kind of person goes from that to a musical? Like, I understood that he was dancing a lot and he was like, slow dancing, but he's not gonna like West Side Story it down the goddamn Bronx Park Expressway. Like, it's just not. I don't think it's a smart move. I think it's dope that like Lady Gaga could be in it, and I think she could add like definitely that. But like to add basically to Lady Gaga a Joker too is stupid. I don't think it's smart at all. And I'll be the first one to to eat my words and be like, hand up, sorry. Like I have. It's like my Joker poster is right there in the corner. But you can't. You just I'm very protective of the Joker. Like it's hard to. It's super easy to mess him up in
Yeah.
this. So I'm just like, please don't do this. Just give me something other than this.
Well, I
Give
think I
me
told
a
you
Joker
off. Well,
origin.
yeah, I think I told you offline, like, because when when you saw it, like, you sent the message to our like little group message on Instagram, you immediately were like, "All right, I'm out," and like you were not having it. And I think I told you, well, he must have like sold them on some like a hell of a pitch because I can't see them just, especially with like a new regime at the head, like I can't see them just being like, "All right, well, we'll just do this and try it." Like he must have
Yeah, and
sold them on
that's
something like really
and
good. But and like and actually on Twitter there were a lot of people that were like, "Do you know how amazing this could be if it works?" And I actually can see that. But
yeah,
also
hand
those
up.
people,
It'll be amazing if it works,
yeah.
but
Also those
it's
people, yeah. Other people were like, "Can you imagine if it doesn't and it's an absolute fucking failure?" Like some people thought like it was a prank yesterday. They were like, "Is this really the direction they're going?" And then like I saw another guy on Twitter go like, "Oh, so who's doing the music? It's going to be like her original music. Like what are they doing? Like how are they?" I mean, of course, there's so much we don't know. Uh, and I think they just kind of let those two bits of news drop to see how that would like marinate with everybody. And I think
mhm.
it's like definitely mixed at the moment. Uh, and like you said, it didn't even need a sequel. I don't think it needed a sequel either. I would have loved for them to just like leave this alone and just like let it be its thing and it was successful. It made a lot of money. You got it right. Even though like all critics didn't love it, there were some people that thought it was too violent and yada 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 or whatever. But like for the most part, you got it right, and you should have just kind of rested on that
Just
and maybe
like
tried something
just
different.
leave it at that. You just announced you're doing DC Black. Todd Phillips is going to help with that. The easy thing, just keep doing these character study villain origin stories. Like I think I said it to you guys yesterday. It was like, how dope would it be if we had a Lex Luthor like hostile takeover Gordon Gecko like type of fucking movie where he takes over LexCorp from his father. Like how awesome would that be?
Yeah.
Um Two-Face, that's just an obvious one. We've seen it a lot before, but like the list can go on and on with like certain more believable villains that would be like, dude, you do easily do a Carmine Falcone one. I mean, they're doing Penguin in the other universes, so I just really think that just don't do a musical. If you keep the musical out of it, I'm fine. I still don't understand how you like Harley Quinn is just a hot topic. You say a hot name that you say, people are gonna go ooh ooh.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, whatever. But I just don't think in this universe specifically that there needs to be a Harley Quinn and any of that.
So,
Just not.
someone on Twitter was like, "Is this like Warner Brothers like quiet way?" I mean, I know these are all separate entities and universes, whatever, but they were like, "Is this their quiet way of telling Margot Robbie like, yeah, we're kind of done with like what you were doing with it, and we're gonna like try this other direction and go somewhere else?"
Yeah. No,
Because that could
I
be,
mean, it's not. You're not. No, you're not. They're not wrong. But it's like, I mean, DC. I think I would feel that with the new DC execs that they would do it differently. Like give a little respect to the people. But Margot also said she's like, dude, I've done like 5 movies in like 8 years
yeah,
for so
she wanted to break.
she's done a lot. She's done a break. But yeah, no. I mean, if her Birds of Prey was not good, um,
Oh, I
go
liked
out
Birds.
there. So it wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. Like if you're gonna do a Harley Quinn movie, it was very odd. But she's odd, so yeah. But I won't go down that rabbit hole. But yeah, no, I don't think I have faith in Todd Phillips. I have faith in Heath and not in Heath. Rest in peace, Heath. Rest in peace, Heath.
Heath.
I have faith in
Joaquin.
Joaquin, but I just don't think that you should do a musical. That's really it. The musical is
It
out for me. Out on the
was.
musical.
It's certainly a bold move. It's a very very bold move. Um, yeah, I don't know if I don't know if it 100% will work, but it got people talking yesterday at least. So at least there's that. They've created like a conversation about what they
Oh yeah,
are
no,
planning on
it's
doing.
easy, dude. I mean, that's why I always
Um,
say like that's. I think DC has better characters because like it's just like when a new Marvel character is like named, it just doesn't have the pop it does of like, oh, Batman or Joker or like obviously they've turned over a few times, but just saying.
yeah, no, I feel you. Well, we'll see if this next news is more positive for you. The trailer for Black Adam came out last
It
week.
did. It did.
Um, I got to see it a day early at on the Warner Brothers lot because I got an invite like 3 weeks ago
Yeah,
to
from The Rock himself, by the
so
way.
yeah
You're
to
really downplaying this, guys.
yeah I tried yeah so the invite was like my editor in chief at Joe Blow was like, hey, there's like a trailer launch at Warner Brothers and I know you live in LA, like do you want to go? And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll go. And then it was just kind of like followed by like, well, I mean, even if you couldn't go, you have to go because like you were personally, our outlet wasn't just invited, like they personally, Dwayne Johnson listed you as a journalist that he wanted to be at this thing to see the trailer first. So it was very exciting. I got to they took us to like a small theater on the lot and got to watch the trailer twice. And then they took us into another room after that for a very intimate Q&A with Dwayne Johnson and his producing partners and the director of Black Adam. Um, Up close and personal. We couldn't do video. That was prohibited, but I was able to do audio because I had to transcribe it for a story about the whole event later that day. And before I even get into like talking about the trailer, I will say what I gathered from the Q&A discussion and like speaking with him and him speaking with all of us is that he's super. I had no idea that he has been a part of this project for the better part of a decade, and
Oh yeah.
he's super passionate about it. Everyone involved is passionate about it. It seems like he's 100% invested, not in just like doing multiple Black Adam movies, but he wants to expand the entire DC universe. He wants to be that person that helps does that. That's what he kept saying during the Q&A, because he cares about the universe as a whole, and not just what like Black Adam can bring to it, but all the kind of characters attached to him. And I don't know, based on like how like passionate they were about it and how intense they were about it, it made me look forward to this a bit more than I was kind of. It looked like an entertaining movie just from the set photos and stuff I'd seen, but like just knowing how like 100% invested in it that they were in it makes this kind of one to look forward to. I think. He got asked a few times about playing an anti-hero and like not playing his typical like action roles, and if he was nervous about that, and this is the reason why he said he took the part because he wanted, or why he's been so invested in doing it because he wants to do something different because it is something that he hasn't really done before. You get a vibe of that in the trailer. I personally thought the trailer was at least good enough for a first. Like I guess it was the second trailer. There was a teaser before this, but this was like the first full trailer. I know when we talked offline, uh, you were kind of mixed on like the footage that we got.
Yeah, no. First, no. The first things first. The Rock has been in this for a fucking long time, and I would like to address his comments of expanding the universe. Now, I would be going against my previous self and our previous episode if I didn't believe then that Rock could do this. Because my argument for Tom Cruise is that the Rock is up there with him as powerful in the movie industry. So I do believe that he's going to do something, but the way he talks about it, and I mean, I listened to a lot of the press conference because he had some social media up, obviously,
Right.
and he was like trying to say that the Black Adam would be the anchor for everything. I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
I like Black Adam is a sick character. He's like a legendary character. Like everyone knows him who's read a comic book, but like he can't be a focal point character. He can't be in the JSA like that. Like he can't be in the Justice Society of America, which they're using as
And
like his
this,
like guardians in the movie, which is gonna be awesome. Like I'm first and foremost, it's gonna be sick. Like this movie is definitely gonna be like produced well. The
yeah,
cinematographer from Joker's is on board, so we're gonna get some great shots. It's gonna be great action, but like from that comment, I'm like, dude, like take a chill pill. Let's just like you realize you have to somehow get Zachary Levi and you in the same movie and make it believable. And then
Right.
from there, like I can see,
But
yeah, like then if I will believe him when he fights Superman.
okay.
That's when I'll believe it. And that kind of like leads into like another topic we had too. It's like more news that came out is that or that I saw, not to take away from Black Adam, but um Henry Cavill is coming back. Like I'm gonna say it here first. Breaking news on the back to the blockbuster. Henry Cavill is definitely coming back for Superman. There's no doubt about that. Like I cannot believe that. So if they can do that, if The Rock can do this movie and make a Billy easy, I think it's gonna make a Billy easy. Calling that too. I'm a hot take guy today. I don't know what it is, but hot take guy today. But that it's gonna make $1 billion if he can get Henry back in the Cape and fighting him. That'd be sick. And I'll believe him that he can like do stuff with the rest of the movie, with the rest of the DC universe. But it's in shambles right now, so
yeah, I mean,
he's
and
got a
he
lot.
was he,
He's got a lot to do.
and he was saying like initially that when they first got the script, it was supposed to be, uh, it was pitched as a Shazam and Black Adam origin story in one movie, and then he
Yep,
read it,
I remember that.
and he read it, and it was like, no, like they are two distinctly unique characters. They need to get introduced in their own movies, and like I don't know much about Black Adam and all that. I I'm looking at Shazam in that first movie, and I'm not sure what the second movie is going to do, but they feel so tonally different to kind of
And
exist like
yeah,
together. But like,
yeah,
I'm just wondering how they would bring that because they don't feel like one feels more like kind of light, and this one feels a little bit more like dark. And I don't see how that union comes together, but maybe like people who are fans of both of those
yeah.
characters know
So
more.
yeah, so for me with Shazam, so basically just to give you a little background. Um, we'll even give you a little background in Shazam, like what it is. So, um, Shazam, the Wizard, just so everyone knows, the Wizard gave Black Adam the first powers because he was gonna, be the hero, the savior of Kandak, um,
Yeah,
which is like the mythical city or the made up city that where he's from as a slave, which they mentioned in the thing. Then he turns like bad, Black Adam, and then basically just gets in prison for uh, a long time. And then they found a new one, Zachary Levi, Billy Butler, whatever the hell his name is, Billy Batson, whatever. And he's Shazam. Then they fight back and forth, and eventually he does become an anti-hero. And his probably the best depiction of him that people could probably watch is like Shazam Superman animated movie. They have a good fight together, and Black Adam usually always wins because he's magical, and Superman has a weakness for magic. So
yeah.
yeah, so it's good, but yeah,
I
I
like
lost my
the.
train of thought.
I also dug the visuals in the trailer too. I think like visually, it's going to be like a really good
Oh, dude, it looks
movie as well.
fantastic.
Like they were
I
saying how they shot some of the action sequences stuff and how many cameras they had like rotating like around Dwayne Johnson at certain points where his character is like flying, and it's so that like the cameras can follow him, but also the way that like he's positioned, he could kind of follow the cameras too. So it was just like all of it. It was almost done so practically, even though there will be effects and stuff kind of added to it. They tried to do
mhm.
as much, I guess, of it practical as they could. Um, but like visually, it just looks like freaking amazing. That was like the first thing that stood out to me about it.
Yeah, the definitely when that first ship came in, I was like, it looks like Black Panther's ship. But no, it looks dope. I think that the story really, um, I hope that they give it a good story.
Yeah,
And I hope that Dwayne Johnson really can deliver on like being like angry, but understanding that life is sacred, but not sacred if you're a bad person type deal. Um, And then I hope that like the JSA is like sick because like Pierce Brosnan coming for Doctor Fate like that, like that's a very like a low key amazing casting and amazing character. Like Doctor Fate is super awesome in the comics and in like in all the Justice League cartoons and stuff.
yeah.
He's so cool. And then on top of that, you have Atom Smasher, which is basically Ant-Man for the DC universe. Um,
It's Cyclone, right?
and Cyclone. Um, they were originally supposed to use, and then lastly is Hawkman. They were
Yeah,
originally supposed to use Lady Hawk and Hawkman in this, but apparently, as Dwayne said before, I think in a recent interview, that they're planning on using Lady Hawk in another entity, so
project.
they couldn't use her, so they replaced her with Cyclone. I don't know much about Cyclone. Her powers look sick. In the comics, she's always been a background character, so cool that we're getting um, multinational, multiracial, whatever you want to
Yes.
call it,
Yeah.
non-white person getting another good role. Like
Yeah.
that's it, and then yeah, geez,
I was I want to see more of them in whatever trailer they release next. Because
yeah,
like the
yeah,
glimpses that we got of some of them were really cool to see. It wasn't like a lot, and I guess that was like a good enough tease to be like, okay, this is kind of what you're gonna get with them. But I really want to see more of them in whatever footage they release next for it.
yeah.
Um,
But like their characters are definitely CGI heavy. I mean, so I think they're gonna definitely take a little bit longer to do. Obviously, they were gonna
yeah,
focus on Black Adam for the first one, but like they all looked very complex in terms of
right.
post production.
And you know they talked a little bit about the delay, the from July to October. They kind of doubled down on like there's still effects that they need to finish. There was more of like a like post production stuff they have to get done. It was less to do about like whatever changes are going on at Warner Brothers. I mean that could also be the case too, but they were like big movies like this all the time get delayed because of they want to make sure all the effects are right. They want to make sure it looks as good as it can look. Um, I'll ride with them. I'll ride with them on that and say that's the reason that it got delayed till October.
No,
He
yeah,
wanted to.
no, I really do think that reshoots lately has gotten a really bad stigma.
Yeah,
So
it's
I think it's unfair to keep doing it because like you know better than me that like there's plenty of times like they do the movie, they come back like in a month or 2 or 3 months and they do a couple extra scenes
right.
um to like fix something or whatever. So I think reshoots do get a really bad name,
Yeah, and you can honestly
bad
get the
stigma.
vibe. You can get the vibe when like the reshoots is like, oh, we had poor test screenings, and then we got to
No,
add just some
yeah,
more
like
stuff.
none of that's
You can
happened.
totally, yeah, none of that's happened. You can really tell the difference. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. It comes out October 21st. Um, and I think I will be doing a lot of press for it, so that's exciting as well.
Hope to get
I
me
will get.
some of that merch.
I did get tequila, which has nothing to do with the movie.
And an action figure.
Action figure, yeah. It's
That thing is sweet. I want that.
it was pretty. I'm probably not gonna end up keeping it. Probably will hand it off to you. um,
um,
it seems
but yeah,
seems
no.
like it would be in better hands with you
Like
than me.
yeah, like I was telling you before, like you were saying before though, like because this movie's like not delayed or anything, like it was a little iffy.
Hmm.
Um, because like you can go back as far as like when Man of Steel came out, like he posted a picture with Henry Cable, like we're cooking something up, DC, Black Adam versus Superman, and everyone then was like, oh okay, yeah, all right, but then he just did it, it filmed, it's here, the trailer's out with no issue, so that's why I'm
Yeah,
going to be on the train as well of like, yeah, this movie is
yeah,
going to be super heavy. It's actually the first movie that's coming out for DC in like a year and a half because they moved everything back again.
yeah.
So
Yep.
they definitely want to come out swinging with it, and I'm with it. So I'm here for it. Team Black Adam.
Yeah.
I don't know
A
who the
lot of
villain
pressure.
is.
A
I
lot of
have
pressure on
no idea
Dwayne
who the
Johnson
villain is.
too. I actually don't
Yeah,
either. They didn't really talk about that too much. Which I mean, I'm more than happy to be surprised with what the main antagonist will be.
I'm
Uh,
pretty sure it's a demon of some sort. I was watching video earlier. They were explaining it, but I forgot his name. But he's like apparently some type of demon, I guess.
okay,
Um, yeah.
that makes
But
sense.
obviously, it's gonna be like one of those things where it's gonna be like a Wonder Woman. I guarantee it's like a Wonder Woman type villain reveal where he's like hiding in plain sight for the entire time.
Oh yeah, and you're like,
Yeah,
oh,
but
it's that guy.
that's my guess. That's my guess. He's like, yeah, because he's a demon. A demon just can't be like hanging out for the entire time. He has to possess somebody.
Yeah, and it's interesting because you brought up the whole Superman thing, and this like next thing is just like a small part of a bigger story. And I think you kind of touched on this about like the kind of things they want to do at Warner Brothers with DC Entertainment, what they want to focus on. Uh, why aren't they focusing on some of these bigger IPs that they have? But one of these small little things that got kind of dropped into a Variety article, and uh, someone from Warner Brothers, an anonymous source said it, but still someone from Warner Brothers, there was an indication that Variety was getting that executives at Warner Brothers thought that Henry Cavill was aging out of the role of Superman because they've been waiting so long to use the character again, and they're like, well, he is too old now to play the part. Henry Cavill's 39 years old. He doesn't look it
Yeah,
really.
like
Yeah.
also it's fucking Superman. Like, oh my god, DC! Like, what the fuck? He looks
Yeah.
he looks exactly like Clark Kent. Like, this is like, I'm sorry. He is so dedicated to this role. He's literally for the past 9 years, he's gone out and been like, I am Superman. It's still here. I still want to play it. I'm still ripped to shreds. I still have fantastic hair. I'm 39, and in which in actor's years is like 22. All right,
Yeah.
like, okay, if you want to go on the age scale to playing what you are on fucking TV, just go watch Stranger Things. All right, or like
Exactly.
21 playing 10-year-olds. So chill out with the age thing. But I think I think that was such a cop out answer. Like, okay, fine. If you were waiting for him to age out, or he aged out, why aren't you looking for another Superman?
Exactly. Like I get that too. I mean, like that was my train of thought. I was like, you're not looking for another one other than Batman. He's your biggest character that you have in your arsenal. You it,
And you just don't use him. You
you're
use
not using him,
Supergirl.
and that
Like,
seems to be
you
like
use him.
the biggest. You brought it up before, like the biggest issue that like these people who are coming in have is like, why do you have like this huge like IP
Use
here
some of the
and like you're not
greatest,
really using,
fictional characters of all time in literature, and you're not
and
using them.
you have an actor who not only wants to play the part, but he is a fan favorite. It's not like it's just like people are like, oh, I could take him or leave him. Like there are people that still like various days of the week will have like they will try to make his name trend on Twitter just so they can be like, hey, we still want him to play Superman. Like he's ready, willing, and able to do it, and all the fans want him to do it. So it's just like, why are they dragging their feet? And yeah, if they drag their feet too long, he will be 40, 41, 42. And it might even not even matter then. Like the guy doesn't look his age
Like,
to
if
me. He
you
doesn't look like,
if you have any issue of his, like, his athletic ability or whatever, just go watch The Witcher. Like, the dude's a beast. Like, he is fitness oriented, baby, and he's a nerd. That's like another thing too. Like, I feel so bad for him too, because he actually legitimately does love the character. He's like, I have so many ideas. We can do this. We can do that. Like, just it's just it just blows my mind that, like, we're going through, like, what, the third reshoots of Aquaman, and we still haven't been able to get another freaking movie off the board for
I
for
mean,
Henry Cavill.
I think we brought this up last week, but we didn't want to make it a bigger deal because we had a lot to talk about. But it's like I always felt after Man of Steel that he deserved a proper Superman sequel and not like Batman versus Superman. Like
Yeah,
he should have had like
100%.
his own movie. And I think that's where things kind of got lost in the shuffle with him. He's like he had that movie and then they went into Justice League and then I was like, all right, well, this is how we're using him.
Yeah,
And it really was a disservice to him because like I said, like is great in the role. He just hasn't had like other than Man of Steel. I know we bring that up, like, but for the most part, he still hasn't. I don't think he's been afforded his opportunity to really, really do what he can really do with that part, like
no, absolutely not.
with the right script and like the right director behind it. He is our Superman. I can't think of anyone else that would want to play the part right now. Like it
No, yeah,
he deserves his shot. And the cop out of like, well, he's aging out is
bonkers.
it's kind of reaching, especially I mean because as they were saying he's aging out, they kept listing all the other projects that they have coming up, and I was like, all right, I feel like you should backburner some of those and focus on getting a Superman movie made.
Like I guarantee you there is a workable Superman script like sitting like in a box somewhere on the Warner Brothers studios. Like there's easily one for Brainiac, uh Bizarro, Lex Luthor. You can just do a Lex Luthor, but I think Lex Luthor's kind of played out like in the whole like man versus God thing.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, Zach kind of like Zach. I mean, as much as you guys know, I love Zach more like really a lot for what he's done for DC. But yeah, no, he didn't really put Henry in the right spot to like succeed because his
yeah,
arc of Superman was very delayed. Like if his original plan would have worked out, we would have seen Justice League 2 where he actually was the Superman that we all know and love, the schoolboy, the whole entire nine. But you had to rush it.
yeah,
He died. He came back for like half a movie. He was wearing a black suit. So, but you know, at the end he comes back in the blue and red suit. So, but yeah, he just looks so good in the suit. He's got the perfect head of hair,
yeah.
face. I think he cares about it too. Like that. It's really one thing too. And then for DC, if you're just, I hope anybody listening, all you have to do is to expand your universe is to go to space. And guess what? Superman's got a lot of enemies in space. And you do that, and then you go to Green Lantern. And then you have an entire movie, 2 or 3 movies, and then a series on HBO. There you go. Like, and then you go from there. It's so easy to do these things. They just
Don't
don't
you
do
wish
it.
you were don't you wish you were an executive at Warner Brothers?
I do. I just wish I was in a think tank, just
Like,
being
because
like,
at this point, I think a 12-year-old could come up with better ideas than like some of the stuff that they choose to do.
no, it's so stupid, man. Like, why are you trying to tell me that the next Trinity is going to be Michael Keaton, Sasha Kaye, and Gal Gadot potentially? Like, it's not like that's not getting like even that's not. I have a tattoo of the Joker on my body. I'm not going to see that movie. It's stupid. Why would I like no? Give me Batman. And apparently, not to divulge from Superman, but apparently Michael Keaton shows up in Aquaman twice.
Wait, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
hot
read he
take. I
shows
don't
up.
know that.
Yeah, he like shows up twice in it, for like some odd reason. So like that's like the like
So is that
official
like
nail in the
is that like a
coffin.
lead up to the? Is that like a lead up to like
No, it's
the
kind of like
Flash
he's
or?
like the Nick Fury kind of deal thing, like
Oh,
he's like the new
okay.
like watchful eye. So,
The
but they're all
senior.
gonna be like, "Who are you?" And just be like, now I have to
Uh,
re-explain all of this.
yeah. Well, I mean,
I just
I think we should keep our very special DC episode of Back to the Blockbuster going because that's like all the news today. I'm gonna drop this one, and
yeah.
I'm gonna drop it really quick because it just happened today. I don't know how these rumors get started, and it's about Amber Heard and Aquaman 2. Uh, First of all, a website called Just Jared said that they were cutting her completely from the sequel, recasting. Um, Even though that site is like popular, I always try to wait until a bigger trade picks it up, and
Mm-hmm.
all the smaller trades picked it up. We picked it up too, but like listed it as a rumor, and then Amber Heard's spokesperson said it is not true. She has not been cut, and she says the rumor mill continues as it has from day one. Inaccurate, insensitive, and slightly insane. I, either way, it's just like if she, for what I heard, they cut her down to 10 minutes. I don't know if that's true or not. Like if that's the case, just let her have her 10 minutes and be done with it. I don't think she's gonna affect the film's like box office at all. At the end of the day, by the time the sequel opens in March, uh, and apparently, she wasn't even supposed to be in it a lot from the get go. Like Walter Amada confirmed that. I know she tried to say that like her stuff with Johnny Depp affected her role in this, but they said from the early script stages that her part was always smaller compared to what it was in the first film. But yeah, another day, another Amber Heard getting cut from Aquaman 2. I don't know why people keep wanting to cut her from the movie. Social media just doesn't like the girl. Um, but her people said, yeah, that she is still in it. And
I
yeah,
mean, it's a really a whatever thing for me. As you said,
yeah,
like she was very pivotal in the first movie. Her character Mira, obviously because she was like the person to like help him like finally like get to be Arthur Curry and the King. But like yeah, no, I mean they didn't like knock me off their socks with like their chemistry or like her wittiness. Her powers are
yeah,
sick.
They
But like,
and
yeah,
then
like, and again,
she didn't knock anyone away. Apparently, remember Walter Amada said that the issues when he was testifying was that like they were concerned about chemistry issues, like they didn't have any, and like they basically had to like cut the movie a certain way to like kind of I don't want to say spice up that relationship, but make it feel like there was more like emotional depth to it. That just they just didn't click.
no,
And
yeah, which is very surprising too from like what I heard on set or read on set. Like Jason and her were always having like a fun time, but like, yeah, no, it just was evident that like they didn't really it's whatever. If somehow they just show up with a new love interest, I'm like, fuck yeah, like that'd be sweet. But other than that, like, yeah, Marrow is Marrow, whatever. She is like important in like the animated universe, but like because she's basically like why a flashpoint story point. But other than
yeah,
that, yeah, no, I'm fine with Mira not just being set
well,
aside.
I agree, and I also think Warner Brothers has bigger problems in the form of Ezra Miller. Um,
Weird dude,
I
just straight up weird dude.
we've been talking about this like I think since March when Ezra Miller got in trouble in Hawaii. First at a karaoke bar, attacking people who were singing karaoke. And then we found out later that they did so much more other stuff like throughout Hawaii. But now there's this like news story where the parents of this 18-year-old girl are saying that Ezra Miller basically has been grooming their daughter since she was a minor by using psychologically manipulating, physically intimidating, and endangering the safety and welfare of their child. And that they're accusing Miller of giving her marijuana, alcohol, LSD. Uh, they tried to get they did get an emergency protective order put in place because even though the daughter is 18, I guess where they're from, uh, the parents still have legal guardianship over her, and but they can't find Ezra Miller to serve them with court papers for this. Um, it's weird. I think it's weird that Warner Brothers hasn't said anything yet about this because at this point, like the guy or he's a PR nightmare at this point. Like there's no getting around it. And like I know they can't like reshoot the Flash, and like there's nothing they can do about that. But we're a year out from that movie. It's June now. We're a year out from that movie. Um, I don't even think in a year you could put Ezra Miller front and center and have them promoting it as your lead of your like huge tentpole release because uh, it's turned to a hugely problematic thing, and this is probably the most serious of the stuff that has gone Miller's way recently. And I don't know. Like, what do you think they do? Does Warner Brothers try to get through the Flash and get it out there, and then after that's done, like recasts, or they can't scrap the movie? It's too expensive. It's a $200 million movie. Early test screenings, they said, Variety said, have been very positive. So they have something good apparently, but their lead is very problematic, and it's only getting worse.
As I said before, weird dude. Um, real weird dude. I've never. I mean, I like him as the Flash. I think he's very good at Barry Allen. A very good Barry Allen with the limited time that we've seen him. Um, I do hate the way he runs. I think that is absolutely atrocious. And the reason is because when doing research, he was researching speed skaters. So if you can imagine a speed skater running, where they cross your arms really long, like I'm doing in the camera right now. So basically, I'm like, this is how Ezra runs. It's just like ridiculous. But then also he like when he comes back, it's all the way back here. So it's kind of like he's basically just doing this actually. Okay, so if you want to watch this one, he's basically
Yeah.
doing this, and you're like, dude, you need to stop doing that and do this. First off and foremost, Ezra, start doing this, right here. But yeah, no. Other than that, yeah, weird dude. Very interested to see how this turns out. I would like to know. I mean, I don't. I mean, at the end of the day, this does not affect me in any way, shape, or form. But like, how are you? How alleged grooming this person, grooming as in like what, texting her nonstop. Like, yeah, I mean that's like weird shit. So
Well, let me. Yeah,
I
like
don't,
the little
yeah,
backstory is Miller. Yeah, Miller met her when she was 12, according to the parents, and began a pattern of like this kind of behavior. There are a lot of people that are like, well, how did you let that happen as her parents when she was that young?
yeah. I mean
Uh,
that's my first
but
question. It's like,
that's
okay,
that's a,
parents,
um, but I
okay,
will
it's like,
say
okay,
Miller has been
parents, like
off the grid.
whatever.
That part is true.
Like
They can't they
you
can't they can't find where. And like the mom says she tried to do a welfare check on her daughter in California in May, and Ezra Miller allegedly attacked her there. So it's just like all this stuff. Like the studio has to know like all this stuff is out there and it's floating around. It's like, you know, on the podcast I was on earlier, someone pointed me to someone about this was a guy named Jeff Hardy that got in trouble. Uh, and they released a statement saying that they support his like sobriety and like will kind of be there for him to kind of see like basically like because he got a DUI and got in trouble for stuff like that, and they were kind of rallying behind him like we will do what we need to do to help. But Warner Brothers isn't really saying much about that with Ezra Miller. It's kind of just like, well, let's just see if this kind of falls off. And I that doesn't seem like a smart move on their part either, not to like do anything or not say anything because it is a big deal that
yeah,
like
no, I
the
don't know.
lead of your big film that's coming out next year. Yeah, I don't.
No, I think
They have to be pulling their hair
I
out.
mean, like, we're talking about a multi-billion national. You're cutting out, but you're talking about a
Oh, yeah,
multi-billion
I can hear you.
dollar national company.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Well, back to what I was saying. They're a multi.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's like you're cutting out. Um, they're a multi-billion dollar national company. I guarantee you, they have like fixers and finders and dog the bounty hunter type people to find out this information. So yeah, definitely, I don't think they're saying anything until like they find out this is true or not, from their statement. But at the same time, yeah, man, they made a $200 million investment in this guy in this movie, and it's doing well. Greed always wins out in the end, and again, like it sounds kind of like far fetched too. It's like, why the fuck's Ezra in like Wyoming or whatever the fuck? Like meets a girl when he's 12,
Vermont.
and then
Oh,
6 years fucking
like,
yeah, Vermont. Like
yeah.
6 years later, the parents are still like for 6 years. The parents have known Ezra Miller is doing this. They could have said this before Fantastic Beasts. So that's where I'm like,
Yeah.
this is kind of like if they really,
That's
if
the
they
weird part, I
really
think.
thought this was like a huge thing, if they thought this was a huge danger, which they should have thought it was from the beginning, and called him out then. Uh, I'm gonna just wait and see. $200 million movie. So yeah,
Would you recast after the Flash comes out?
depending on this news. Luckily, with the Flash, inherently you can change him because of universes. You can make that argument. But yeah, like just put fucking the guy from Maze Runner. Just put the guy from Maze Runner in there. Dylan, whatever his name
Oh,
is.
Dylan O'Brien. He was rumored like a
Yeah,
few weeks ago when all this kind of stuff started, and
exactly. I love that
he
guy.
seemed and he actually looks like he'd be a really good choice. You know what? I just wish they would have gone with Grant Gustin from the beginning and just cast a dude from the TV show and just
No,
like would have been done with it.
no,
He already had a built-in fan base. People already liked him. It was like
no. Okay, awesome. He had a built-in fan base, but actors of who are like, meant to be on the silver screen have fan bases too. So, keep it separate.
wait. So at the end of the day, you think that like Ezra Miller does a better job in that role, like playing the Flash, than like Grant Gustin could do, like just because he's like on
I
TV versus
personally
like.
think that Grant. Well, yeah, I think. Well, obviously the CW has writing and like obviously a different way of acting. So, um, I mean, I watch those shows religiously when they're on Netflix till they fucking go out all 24 episodes of them. It's a lot. But yeah, sometimes I think he's a little too whiny. But again, that's like the show. So
Yeah.
my interpretation of that Barry is like he's very whiny. He has a full team with him. He literally never learns from his mistake, like ever. Like he's just not smart. So I think Ezra's we don't know anything about Ezra's like what he does other than the fact that like what you saw in Justice League and in Justice League. So my jury's still out on that, but I do like Barry Allen. He's cool, but like as I said, I hate the running. It is a complete it is a complete distraction. For me personally, but I just thought Grant Gustin sometimes whined a little bit too much on the show. Not Grant Gustin, well, his character just whined a little bit too much on the
I
show.
think
But
I think that's a CW prerequisite.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like there needs to be a little bit more drama in it. But
Yeah,
yeah, it wasn't.
I think they
I just don't.
they I think they require a certain amount of angst
Yeah,
compared to like the
I think
movies.
yeah, but he did good for he did good. He did the justice, but it's time will tell with the recasting. I mean, they literally like were halting Fantastic Beasts for him to like do it too, to do his role, his stuff in that. So, Warner Brothers is a lot of money in Ezra Miller. So,
What a crazy investment! They probably did not see this coming at all.
and wild, all
That's
all all because it came from like the Stanford prison experiment and like another weird ass movie.
so he was in The Perks of Being a Wallflower, which is like a great movie. Like
Oh
he
yeah, that's what it
uh
was. Yeah.
really good actor. I mean, like clearly Ezra Miller needs some help too on top of like everything that's going on. Um and like, Hollywood does like a redemption story. I just think like they're just doing so much lately, and if this part of the story is as true as they're saying, then like that's hard to recover from, especially if he's keeping this girl away from her parents and like plying her with drugs and all the shit. I hope that's not the case. But yeah, I don't know. It's I guess we will have to see how things pan out with him.
Yeah, I'm excited for the movie still, but
Yeah, I'm still excited for the movie, and it'd be really funny if they were just like, yeah, we're going to release it, but Ezra Miller will not be promoting it. We'll just get everyone else to just make Michael Keaton just promote the hell out of the Flash, and everyone
all he
else.
has to do is just say I'm Batman like all the time. Everywhere he goes, he's gonna be saying I'm Batman.
And that would satisfy any press junket whatsoever. Uh, it'd be perfect. Um,
Yeah.
well, I mean, I did want to drop some non-DC news. I don't know if you've been watching The Boys, but it just
Oh
got
yeah.
renewed for season. It just got renewed for season 4. It Amazon, like most streaming services, doesn't release like the actual hard figures as far as how it's doing, but it is doing significantly better compared to season 1 and season 2. Uh, they said that the worldwide viewership for the show has grown by 17% from season 2 and 234% from season 1. And the reviews have like only gotten better with each season as well. Um, I actually just received the last couple of episodes, so I still need to finish it out. Um, but I think season 3 has been really good so far, and I'm actually happy that they are bringing it back, because I actually think it's one of like the best shows on TV at the moment.
Yeah,
How
no,
far are you
it's
along in it?
fantastic. I'm not in the normal way through it. I think it's 4. I'm 4 on
4?
on season 3. But it's fantastic. It's, I think I said it to you in person. Whoever had to do the head of the penis, like that took some detail, and I think it's just like I think I would love to hear more crew stories of like the bullshit that go like the directors have to ask like these people, these ridiculous. It's like, yeah, I really need you to shrink a man and put him in his urethra and then sneeze and then his entire it's just the whole entire
And
body
then
blows up.
pull
It's
him
so
up.
and like I literally it's in true classic boys fashion. Like I'm so desensitized to the boys because I've watched it so much. That like as soon as I saw those two go into a room and start doing cocaine, and I knew that fucking one of them could shrink. He was going
Yeah,
somewhere. He weren't coming back. I knew
yeah.
it. I was like, oh my god, he's going in his butthole or his dick hole, and he's gonna sneeze and he's gonna expand. He's gonna die. Like it's gonna be the worst thing in the world. It literally it is wild.
What's crazy about how irreverent that show is, they do something like that, and then Chase Crawford, who plays the Deep, was like, Amazon was concerned about like he put like a fake like prosthetic like penis in his suit, so his like stuff would look bigger because like that's what
Yeah.
the character's supposed to be like. And then he said like Amazon executives were like, no, 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 like we need to edit that out, and they cut out his bulge. And I was just like, of all the things, after watching what you did in that season opener of this season, it's like, how is that your limit? That
I
is
mean,
what
Karen Fukuhara killed somebody with a dildo in the
she did.
head. So,
This is
yeah, I don't know. But yeah, it's a wild show, man. It's hilarious. It's good. Um very funny, just all the way around. Like they make fun of everyone. Like that's why I think it's so much fun. Like they thought of the dude in the urethra because of Ant-Man running through all the tunnels. The first thing they did this season was make fun of Zack Snyder, and Zack Snyder was all for it. Like so,
yeah.
they know their spot in the comic book entertainment world, and they're playing it perfectly.
They kept that Charlize Theron thing really quiet too. I know it was just like a small cameo in the opening episode, but I had no idea that was even happening. She's been doing that a
Yeah,
lot
no,
lately,
like
apparently.
that's hilarious. But like, great, good on them for that.
Yeah, it's yeah, I think it's like one of the best shows on TV because it is really out there, but it's also super smart, and all the characters like expand a lot throughout the show, and like I don't know, they just he gives them so much more to work. Like every character is just there's so much more to work with like, as the show has come along, and like I love to hate Homelander too. Like that's probably one of my favorite villains in a while that I've seen. He's got like a lot going on in his head for sure. But yeah, we get one more season. They're also they are doing the
Are
college
they ending
spinoff
it
too.
after four?
They Amazon. No, like well, Jack
Are
Quaid
they ending it
said
after four?
I think people read too much. I don't think so. I mean, I think they read into too much of what Jack Quaid wrote on Instagram, where he said like we get to entertain you for at least one more year, and everyone was like, "Oh, is
Oh
that
yeah,
it? You're
yeah.
doing one more year?" And I think people kind of read into that a little too much. He also posted like a picture of the whole cast holding up the number 4 for season 4, and then everyone was like, but there wasn't a picture of Frenchie on it, and everyone was like, well, where the hell is he? Why wasn't there a picture of him there? And I think that could have just been an over. I don't know. Like everyone's gonna read into this stuff more than they probably should. But you are getting a spinoff. It's gonna be a college spinoff that they are in the middle of shooting right now,
That's gonna be wild.
which should
Like
be really
just a
good.
lot
And
of
then like
like,
yeah,
oof.
and they have an animated Diabolical too that might be getting another season that's connected to the boys as well.
Oh, is it actually like is it part of the storyline? I actually want to watch that.
Yeah, it's kind of like it ties in like a few little things. But yeah,
Okay,
like
cool.
you know, like with all these things, it's all about universe building. So I guess they're doing it too.
True. Very true.
But yeah, I don't know if there's anything else you want to throw out there.
Yeah, no. Dominion sucked. DC Warner Brothers is an absolute shambles as always. Except Black Adam, we're excited for that. Amber
Oh, was
Heard
there?
stinks.
Still sucks. Still sucks. You know what? There was the news from Marvel about the Thunderbolts that they're doing the movie.
Oh yeah, I'm excited about that. That'll be cool.
It's in early development, and I actually like that idea of like that would essentially be like Marvel's like Suicide Squad, right? Kind of like
Yeah, it's
similar.
Marvel Suicide Squad. It'd be sick.
That was the one bit of Marvel news that I was like really excited about. because like they were saying, like some of the characters that have been a part of this, they've already introduced in the MCU. Like they could easily use some of them, or yeah, all these like
You can use all of them.
smaller. I don't really like know much about. Like I didn't really know much about the Thunderbolts, so I had to write the story and like read about who they all were and stuff. And that sounds like a really interesting idea.
No, yeah, definitely would be, and
Marvel being Marvel, they would do it to perfection.
Yep, they don't fuck up there.
I do not. I do not.
DC, yes. Marvel, no.
Only when it comes to movies, though.
Yeah, they got the shows are on point.
Shows and comics are better. Movies, which make all the money, they miserably fail at.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this was fun. Just kind of, we didn't mean to make it an all DC thing, but that's really all the movie news that was happening the last.
No, that was it, really.
There was like smaller and casting news, but this was like pretty much all of this is what's going on in the industry right now. And I think that should show you how like dominant DC, Marvel, like all the comic book stuff is within the film industry. I will end it on a non-Marvel DC note and like give some more love to Top Gun Maverick, which I just found out today is officially the highest grossing movie of the year at the domestic box office. Just crossed $400 million. So it just topped Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. It's quite possible it could be the biggest film of the year. I guess I can't see Thor making more money, and I guess maybe Avatar would make more money than Top Gun.
Avatar is going to make more money.
But for now, like a non-comic book movie has the bragging rights to that at the moment.
Yeah,
like
good.
Like it made $50 million. It made $50 million over the weekend, and it was in its third weekend against an even bigger movie. So that's how good word of mouth is for this right now. It's insane.
Maverick, baby, timeless, baby.
Yep. Well, Jack, since Owen's not here, I'll have you sign us off. And
yeah, all right. Well,
your spiel.
Do my spiel. I can do that. I can try. I can't replace Owen. So again, shout out to Owen. We miss you, buddy. Hope you had a good naparoonie.
But as always, thank you guys for listening. Big shout out to our sponsor, Playlist Studios. Not sponsors, they're our partners. They're in this together with us. Shout out Playlist Studios. They do a lot of great work, and they always get our episodes up to where you can listen to them on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever else you listen to podcasts. Or if you want to see me, me and Gaius talking, catch us on YouTube as well. Back to the Blockbuster. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel. And then lastly, it's time for your homework assignment, people. Like, share, subscribe, comment, make a good comment, make a bad comment. Say one of us is not making a good take. Make sure someone's making a good take. Ask us questions so we can have some new topics on here for you guys to listen to. We always want that algorithm in our favor. So make sure you tell somebody about us. Like, subscribe, share, and I hope you have a good day, guys.
Peace.